Okay, so this is the journal entry for January 28th, 2024. This was the first day that I did, or the first time ever that I've done mochi pounding. And I think it's called mochi tsuki in Japanese. So the share house company hosted this event in particular, which meant that the share houses around Kyoto that were the same, like under the same company, owned by the same company, got to meet each other. And I thought that was really cool because I finally got to meet more people from my share house as well as from a different share house. And it's like the third to fourth week of my time here in Japan. I've actually already met some people at my share house. It's just the share house I'm in, it's not really like very communal. The space is kind of small, like the lounge room, and people tend to keep to themselves here. It's a very, very big difference compared to a different share house I visited. I talked all about it before, so don't need to mention it again, but it was nice to meet some people that were from the share house. I guess not even my share house. Most of the other people I met were people from the other share house where we did the mochi pounding event. And I feel like the workers from the share house did most of the work first. We kind of just got to hammer the mochi. That part was fun. And then we split it up into smaller pieces that we would eat and put a filling inside of it. And from there, we basically just socialized. And I think my socializing in this event was a bit more special because I got to finally meet some people that were more creative. I talked all about this in a different video, but I feel like I'm looking for adventurers with a similar sort of like feel and frequency as me. Like I call it the adventurer soul, but in a way it's more like the creative soul because I suppose I would like both, but adventure is like you want to go out and see things and explore things and try new things. That's like great and awesome. I really want to have friends like that for sure. And I do have friends like that, but I suppose it's more about like wanting to do the same things and same activities and trying different activities too, I guess. Either way though, I feel like the creative soul is more like a person who wants to create things, mostly artistic. And I got to meet people who did photography, who went to like music school, who create music, and also who creates art and actually sells art at exhibitions. And I think that was a very rare occurrence. It's not something that I find very common here so far, oddly. Perhaps I'm just not looking in the right places. So for me, I was very, very grateful that I finally found some people that were doing similar things that I was interested in, basically. So we talked about some collaborations, talked about doing some photography together and just lots of stuff. And I am definitely very excited to finally like do that out here with other people and not just by myself. But it was definitely a lot of talking, and at the end of the event, we went out with one of the new friends that we met that had experience with music a lot, and just ate at a place called Nakau. It's Nakau, Nakau. It's basically like almost like a fast food chain in a way, but not necessarily. Like the food is pretty solid, like tastes way better than any fast food I've ever had in America, that's for sure. But it has like the prices of like a fast food place. They have items like udon and katsu and karaage, stuff like that. Definitely recommend trying it out. But it was good to learn more about a new friend and just talk a little bit about creative things and hobbies that we've tried out. And I think from here, the hardest part is just going to be to follow up, because even if people are creative, they don't necessarily have the qualities of like wanting to reach out to others and so forth and so on. It is something I've definitely learned, is that we tend to get used to our own routines and the people we see, the things that we do. So for me, I really, really like being proactive and trying to essentially like the theme of one of my other videos that I made, like choosing adventure over comfort. Like I want to break out of the routine and do things that aren't really as expected as much. So I'm definitely gonna try my best to connect with the new friends that I made and make sure that these collabs we talked about actually happens. And I met a lot of other people as well. They were very nice and fun to talk to. But I did find that most of our interactions during that event ended up being like the creative people like sticking together and talking more with each other. And interestingly, like one of my other friends that I've made that I find really, really fun to talk to and has great energy, she didn't have too much to say while we were talking about our creative things. So she kind of just went off afterwards, which a part of me feels a little bit like sad about, because I definitely don't want to make others feel like, they are not really part of the conversation, or they have nothing like they don't want to be a part of the conversation as well. But I do understand, like, when people are talking about things you don't really feel anything for or know much about, it can get kind of boring for you, or just you have nothing to say. So I understand. But the lesson and takeaway from this story and this day was definitely just try your best to keep looking for new friends. Do your best to go to the share house events if you're staying at a share house. Like, find things that you can go to if you're not in a share house. I think Meetup is an app that one of my other friends recommended. There's definitely something going on somewhere where you can meet new people. And afterwards, don't be afraid to ask if one of them wants to hang out afterwards. That's pretty much it for this day. I'll catch you guys in the next one.